Hello and welcome back to Aquatics. This is our Learn to Swim series. The aim is to teach you to learn to swim. Now it's for all ages and abilities. You might be really good or just starting out, and hopefully some of these principles will apply to you. If they don't, move on to our swim basics videos or move on to our swim improver videos. Today we're talking about how to breathe out underwater. We received a comment from a viewer asking us to make a video for them on how to actually breathe out underwater. Now, this might be a really easy thing to some people, and to other people it might be incredibly difficult. You might be uncomfortable putting your face in, you might not be able to breathe out of your nose, you might never have considered that it's an option to do it underwater, and I'm here to tell you that it's actually preferable for you to breathe out as much air underwater as you possibly can. Now, we've referred to this in several of our videos where I've actually taught the techniques of how to breathe out of how to do the breath component of the stroke. So turning your head out to breathe, and I might have mentioned that you want to blow as much air out in the water as possible, but I've never actually shown you how to blow air out of the water. We're going to do that today. So the first step you need to do is, and it might sound embarrassing, it might be something that you're a little bit nervous of doing in a public pool. If you have access to a bath, you could even do it at home. But what I would like to tell you is that it doesn't matter. If someone over there is looking at you, practicing what I'm about to show you, well, they're looking at you, but you're doing your own thing. So don't worry about what they're doing. You focus on what you're doing, because you're learning how to swim. So if you feel any embarrassment or anything like that, honestly, I wouldn't worry, because otherwise you won't learn how to swim. So grab yourself a bit of water. That's the first step. And what I'd like you to do is practice simply putting your face in. Now, if you've got some goggles, good. If you don't, maybe get some. If you think you don't need them, that's fine. Personally, and through my years of teaching kids, adults, whoever, to learn how to swim, I've found that goggles add a sense of separation from the water. They almost remove they remove yourself from feeling like you're doing something that might be unnatural to you, because you can keep your eyes open, or you can shut your eyes even with the goggles on. But what that means is, if you've got the goggles on, you don't have to worry about shutting your eyes so the water doesn't go into them, or you don't have to worry about it being an uncomfortable sensation at the same time as you putting your face in, maybe even for the first time. So, best idea, try and get some goggles, stick them on, and then get yourself comfortable with simply standing in a bit of the pool or wherever you're practicing this. So you're firmly planted on the ground. You could, if you've got access to a pool with a bar, it might be a good idea to stand next to the bar, just so you can hold on to it, maybe put your back against the wall. You've got somewhere safe to sort of plant yourself. Because what you don't want to do is be out in open water, let's call it that, and find yourself a little bit panicked and disorientated. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it did, better to be near the water. So, get yourself a bit of water and simply practice putting your face in like this. Ready? And you will notice my immediate reaction is to start blowing bubbles out. It's actually really almost impossible for me to put my face in and not blow air out. And I'll tell you two reasons why. One, it's just a reflex. And two, it stops the water from going up my nose. How does it do that? Well, that means that I'm blowing air out of my nose. It depends on the situation that I'm actually putting my face in, whether air is coming out of my mouth or out of my nose, or both. If I'm really swimming, and this is for the performance swimmers that might be, or people that are looking to go pool swimming or swim for exercise, there are some scenarios where you're swimming for exercise, and like when you run, you would need to get as much air out as possible before you're ready to come up and take a breath in. So in some scenarios, you need to be blowing that air out as much as possible. I'll show you that in a moment. In other scenarios, you might just be in a pool, you might want to put your face in, you might be going sort of not scuba diving, but sort of diving with goggles in the sea, and you might just want to be calm underwater and be comfortable putting your face in, essentially. So, excuse me, a great way of you stopping that water from going up your nose is to blow air out of it. Now, as I said, you can practice putting your face in this way, and I'll turn to the side so you can see the mechanics of this. You can put your face in like this, but that might be a bit daunting for some people. So you could start by going down vertically like this, and you could get yourself lower and lower, and you'll notice that your mouth is going to go in the water next. So you could try and blow out bubbles through your mouth like you would blow out a birthday candle. It doesn't have to be short and sharp. It can be a sustained breath. What you don't want to do is blow all your air out and then kind of stay underwater. Try and return to the top so that you can get ready to breathe in. So I'm going to try going down vertically, blowing air out as I go. So and again. Now, personally, I don't like doing that, and it's actually done it, because it blows bubbles at my nose. And because I've trained myself to breathe out of my nose, it's not natural for me. You may have the ability to stop that from happening to your nose, and you might be able to blow out air from your mouth only. When I'm swimming for exercise, I've got my face down, and if you blow, it depends on the orientation again, so it's kind of scenarios that it applies to, but if you've got your face down in the water and say you're swimming front crawl and you're blowing air out, it's most likely going to climb up the side of your face to the top of the water, so you don't have to worry about it going up your nose. I'll demonstrate for you now. And that was absolutely fine. So as you just saw then, if you're putting your face in for exercise, it can be slightly different. Now, go back to practicing. Let's come over near the wall again. Say you're a beginner and you're trying to progress this. The next steps for you could be to go slightly deeper. And if you've had your eyes shut, you could open your eyes with the goggles on, underwater, and you could have a look about. Now, pools are very boring. If I get Joshy to pan down to the floor, you might just see that there's nothing down there. There's not much to look at, is what I'm trying to say. So that might not be very interesting for you, and it might not hold your attention. You might think that that's a bit of a weird thing for me to say, but actually it's quite an important one, because distraction is a great way of getting over a fear of doing something. When I've taught kids in the past who have been, and especially adults, but I'll talk about kids first, kids in the past that are fearful of doing something, if I can distract them some way, and they do it either by accident or by me encouraging them to do it in a way that is them being distracted, once they've done it, the sense of, oh, I've done that and it didn't actually matter, is great. It's fantastic. So something very menial that you could do, and you don't have to buy one of these. This is a sinker. You don't have to buy one of these. You could get anything that doesn't matter if it gets wet, and you could hold on to it, and you could put your goggles on and go. You don't even need to really go underwater to drop it, but you could just drop it and see what happens. And the next time, you could go underwater and then drop it and see what happens. Just a distraction to make something that could potentially be quite challenging for you just that little bit easier. And this is a great method for dropping it to the floor and getting the confidence of putting your face deeper into the water to pick it up. I won't put my goggles on, and I'll show you what happens when you go underwater with your eyes open. We're in a really nice clean pool at the moment, so if I go under the water, you're going to get some water in your eyes. Now, you can clear it by blinking a few times. It might sting a little bit. If you're in the sea, you will have to get used to that. I would not recommend you opening your eyes underwater in the sea, because salty water can burn quite a bit. You can train yourself to get used to it, but it can be quite challenging. And strongly chlorinated pools, which this isn't, this is nice and clean, can cause you to get red eyes at the end of the swim session, or it might sting a little bit. So to breathe, this is quite a funny thing. To breathe out through your nose, I'll mention a story that I once had about 10 years ago when I was teaching a kid. I said, breathe out of your nose, and they went, and it was like they've just blown their nose but without the tissue. Let's leave it at that. Good thing to do before you get in the pool is to blow your nose, and it's definitely not a short, sharp, you don't want to go shh. What you want to do is do it nice and calmly, nice and smoothly. So I'll ask Joshy to come really close to me. I'm going to put my nose in the water, and hopefully you'll be able to see from the bubbles the rate at which I'm blowing out. Ready? Now, I'd say that my lungs at the end there were about 50% still filled up. So that will give you a good idea of how slow I'm actually breathing out. And what that's doing is that's stopping that water from going in. I could even go upside down if I wanted to with that rate, and the water still wouldn't go into my nose. So if that's your fear, if there's a fear of the water going up your nose and you start coughing and it being uncomfortable for you, that problem is going to be instantly solved by you blowing air out of your nose. If your fear of going underwater is the fact that it's large and expansive, don't focus on that. Grab yourself a sinker. Get yourself something that keeps you local to your body. Stand next to that wall. That's how you're going to start. And the last thing to say on this topic would be, what's the progression from here? I've put my face in, I've started going under the water, I can have a little look about, try it for maybe 5 seconds, see if you can hold your breath for that long. You don't ever really need to be in the water for that long, where you're swimming, if that's the purpose, while you're actually swimming for exercise, maximum of 3 seconds, by the way. So you only would really need to practice to that. But a progression, if you wanted to start moving forward and transitioning this space into your swimming, is if you have a kickboard, perfect. You can do it without one. It's a little bit more daunting because you don't have anything to hold on to, so get yourself something to hold on to. The benefits of a kickboard is that it's floaty, so you can actually put some pressure on it and it will keep you up. Now, what I'll ask you to do is go and look at our push and glide video. I'll link it in the description below, and that will show you how to progress into your push and glides. And then from then on, you can progress into kicking your legs, starting to use your arms, as I go through in our swim basics video with front pull arms, which I'll also link down below. So I'm trying to give you the next progressions in the videos we've done. But for this one, grab yourself a kickboard, find a wall, excuse me, all you're going to do, put the goggles on, and you're going to start to put your face in like this. Brilliant. Couple times. I'm comfortable with that. Next, fingers on top, thumbs on the bottom, face in, and you're just going to walk across the floor. Get used to moving through the pool. Brilliant. It's critical that you do that in the shallow end. Don't try and do that in the deep end. Somewhere where you're not really stretched for standing up and trying to get your head above the water, essentially. And then the next progression after that, and this is something we go through in that push and glide video, is to find yourself a wall. You're going to put your face in, you're going to start your bubbles straight away. The second your face hits the water, start breathing out, and you're just going to push off and slowly glide. 3, 2, 1, face in. Perfect. I hope that answered your questions on this topic. If you think I've missed something, or if there's something that you're particularly worried about, leave it in the comments below and I will make a video here for you and upload it as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and we'll see you again soon.